You know, in the world of AI, any big announcement can create a ton of noise. So today, we're going to cut right through it. We've got a direct status update on one of the most important partnerships in tech. Let's just get straight to the point.
So, with all this news about new funding and new collaborations hitting the headlines, a lot of people are asking the same thing. Is the huge, foundational deal between Microsoft and OpenAI over? Let's dive into what we know for sure.
All right, let's start with the official word straight from the source. And really, it's meant to be crystal clear and put all that speculation to bed.
And here it is. This is the bottom line, the main headline. The partnership is strong and it's central. So, despite any new players coming onto the scene, the core collaboration that has pretty much shaped the entire AI landscape, well, it's not changing. For both of them, this partnership is still the absolute pillar of their AI strategy.
Okay, so unchanged is a great word, but what does it actually mean in practice? Let's break down the key parts of the deal that are holding firm.
First up, and this is absolutely crucial, let's talk about the intellectual property, the IP. You can think of it as the engine of this whole collaboration. Here's the deal with that.
So this clears up two really big points. Number one, Microsoft's exclusive license and its deep access to OpenAI's models, totally secure. And number two, these new partnerships with other companies, that's not some new development or a change of plans. It was actually baked into the agreement from the very beginning.
Okay, so after IP, the next logical question is always, well, what about the money, right? Let's follow the money and see how the finances are affected, or if they are at all.
The short answer? They're not. The revenue sharing model is exactly the same. And just like with the IP, the financial side of things was designed from day one to include revenue from other cloud providers. This was always part of the long-term game plan.
All right, now for the technical bedrock of this entire deal. Where does all the heavy lifting, all the computing, actually happen? Well, it all comes down to the cloud. And the workflow is actually pretty straightforward. Whenever any third party, and yeah, that includes these new partners, uses OpenAI's models through an API, those requests get routed and hosted on one place and one place only, Microsoft Azure. So in other words, all roads lead back to Azure.
And you know, this stability goes really, really deep. We're not just talking about today. Even the most futuristic parts of the deal are completely untouched. I mean, the actual contractual definition of artificial general intelligence, AGI, and the whole process for deciding if it's been achieved, all of that stays exactly the same.
But hey, don't mistake all this stability for rigidity. This whole structure was actually designed with something else in mind too, flexibility. Flexibility for growth and for each company to do its own thing.
And that's really the key thing to understand here. This isn't some restrictive relationship where they're locked at the hip. The agreement was built from the ground up to give both Microsoft and OpenAI the room they need to go after new opportunities, all while that core partnership keeps humming along.
So what does that mean for OpenAI? Well, it means they have the freedom to go out and get massive amounts of extra computing power from other places. And that's absolutely essential for these huge, ambitious projects like Stargate, the kind of projects you need to build the next generation of AI.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. We've gone through the details, but what's the big picture? Why does all of this confirmation of stability actually matter to the rest of the tech world?
Well, think about it. In an industry that is just changing at lightning speed, this partnership really acts like an anchor. It gives everyone, developers, investors, customers, some much-needed clarity and a stable foundation they can count on as they build and invest in this whole AI ecosystem.
So, if you're going to take away a few key things, here they are. First, the Microsoft OpenAI deal is still the bedrock. Second, the way it's structured actually encourages a wider multi-cloud ecosystem to grow around it. And what's the result of all that? It's less uncertainty in the market, which sends a really clear signal about where AI development is headed.
So at the end of the day, this confirmation isn't really an endpoint. You should think of it more like a launchpad. It just solidifies the ground under one of the most important collaborations in the industry. And that leaves all of us with a pretty exciting question. Now that this foundation is so secure, what are they going to build next?